Hey guys, this is Dan Dunham, your Cisco engineer. After my last little fiasco, I thought I'd take another whack at a vacation, so I'm diving. I'm going to check out the cables going from one continent to the other just to see what they look like. So, well, hang on. Yep. Sharks? Nah. What's he know about sharks? What? Get me out of here! Whoa. Well, thanks to the U.S. Navy, they got me out of that mess. Hey guys, I'd like to talk to you today about how some of our Cisco partners are helping us manage data and replicate data and do some pretty cool stuff with data. So today I'd like to talk to you about Cohesity and what they're bringing to the table. Join me in just a sec. All right, so I want to talk about Cohesity today and what it's bringing to the table. There's some really cool features that they brought to the table that allow you to integrate snapshots with Hyperflex, integrate some replication features, replicate, fan out to multiple sites, and fan into a single site from multiple sites. So maybe let's just have a little role play and see what that might sound like. Something like this. Employee. Yes, we have a new initiative. We've got a bunch of sites that we need to replicate into our primary site, and we need to back up our primary site to another location. And we need to be able to bring these sites back up and running within a few seconds of each other. Well, sure, boss. Let me see what I can put together for that. Employee, I have no doubt that you can do this. You did such a great job on the Hyperflex deal. You bet, boss. Can I have some money? Employee, we have plenty of budget for this program. But don't disappoint me, employee. Okay, so if I had a boss like that, I'd get it done right too. So what I'd like to do is jump into the dCloud environment that we've used before for some of these and just take a look and see what Cohesity looks like and feels like and just how easy it is to deal with the Cohesity environment. Let's take a look. All right, guys, just to orient you, we've got our two Hyper-V clusters. You can see them here in the VMware console. We've got also our Cohesity consoles running here, as you can see. We'll just bring that up. And then I've also got the Hyperflex consoles up and running in this environment, just to show you how this might look in your customer's environment. All right, so let's just go into Cohesity. You've got your tabs for protection, monitoring, platform, administration, and a few other things like test dev and workbench. All right, I'm just going to go into a few options here. So I've already created a protection job. So let's just go to protection jobs. The one I created it uses the gold policy. This policy is created to run once an hour. It will replicate to the site B, and then it also retains that data for, I think, a week on the primary site, and then 90 days on the secondary site. So this is completely configurable. You can create your own policies at will for whatever you need in your environment. You don't have to use gold, bronze, silver. It can be whatever you like. All right, so real simple. If you take a look at this job, you'll see here that there's a success screen here, well, not a screen, but just a success marker, and then the copy status. You can see I did this about an hour ago. Here's all the transaction IOPS that went along with that data copy. You can see here also that we've had successful runs of this backup within the environment. Okay, so All right, so we've got that kind of as a baseline on where we are. To do a recovery, what I'm going to do is simulate some sort of catastrophic failure with our VM. I'm just going to delete this VM. I'm just going to rudely shut it off and then delete it from the vCenter. So as I go through this process, let that regenerate there for a second. I will delete it from the disk. All right, bad things happen. Your administrators are probably scrambling to figure out what's going on, and there's some very ticked off customers. So there you have it. You've got a VM down. We're simulating some sort of a failure. Now, what do I want to do? I want to go to my Cohesity console, and I am going to do a recovery. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is select a recovery up here at the top. I'm not going to do files and folders. I mean, that's an option. We could pick out a specific file or folder and recover that. But obviously, I want to get the whole VM back as quickly as I can. So let's just pick VM. I'm going to search on W because I know it's a Windows VM. Let's see, Windows 2012. All right, there we go. We'll just take that one. Add that to the cart and continue, and off we go. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and recover this whole thing with very few options. You've got an option to put it wherever you want within your VMware environment or Hyperflex environment. You could, put it on some other volume on some other storage system if you wanted to. So you've got a lot of restore options. All right, so you can see here it's at 8%. Recovered. Let's just go and see what's happening over here on the web sphere. So I'm going to refresh that. Oh, yep, it's up and running already. How is that even possible? That's within seconds. So let's just open that console. What's this thing doing? Well, yeah, it's booting. So that's pretty amazing, right? You can get these VMs back up and running with Cohesity just like that. The reason it's able to do this is because it's running this VM on its own disks, the Cohesity cluster's disks, until it can actually get all the data back down to the the normal storage subsystem that VMware uses on Hyperflex, right? So you've got that level of integration to get this thing up and running just like that. This is something that's pretty critical to a lot of recovery solutions out there for customers. Keep in mind also that if this whole site A was down completely, we still have site B. Now, it's not going to be quite as fast as on the recover side, but we still have that option to recover those files and VMs pretty quickly. So I'm going to go through that next after I clean this little mess up, and then I'll show you how that works. Here you can see we're still at 47%. This thing is not finished taking all the data back down to the storage subsystem. So let's just take a look. Whoops, let's go into the console here of the server. We'll send it a Control-Delete to get things rolling for a login, and there we go. Let's see if I can put in my super secret password here. It would help if I selected that. There we go. All right, so you can see here that the server is up and running. It's operational, even though it's not running on the Hyperflex disks. It's running off of the Cohesity disks, right, or the Cohesity disk subsystem. So let's just put a few things in here. Great, we've got our console, or we've got our desktop up and running. Everything's running, and this was from the last snapshot that we did on the system. Now, you can take snapshots every 10 minutes. It just depends on the level of protection you want for that server or workstation or whatever you're protecting, right? So, all right, so the next step is to take a look at how we recover from a failure or a complete failure of a site. So that'll be all sorts of fun because I get to delete a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Turn off all the servers on site A. We'll go ahead and turn all these bad boys off, and I guarantee you they are going to have problems on site A. what happens on the VC client. Be right back. We are in our vSphere client, and you can see here that the hosts are all down. Site A has crashed. It's done. All right, so let's see if we can. Yep, server's down. We can't. So let's just see. Yeah, it's still trying to connect. That site is down. All right, so at this point, your admins are screaming at the top of their lungs, maybe, hopefully, and trying to figure out what they're going to do. All right, so Cohesity makes it really easy to recover from this situation at a site B. All right, so let's just take a look at that site B. So let's do a recovery job here. We know we've got to recover some VMs as quickly as possible. So we'll just search under W. Sure enough, there's our Windows 2012 server that we've got protected with replication. All right, so we're going to add that to the cart, just like that. Continue. All right, so something didn't work on my B side on the Cohesity cluster. But what I'm going to show you is failing or is recovering a VM from the B side over to the A side. So over here you can see I've restarted my Hyperflex cluster at site A. I've got the Hyperflex VMs running. The Cohesity VM is running as well. What really what I wanted to go to is the site B. All right, so I'm going to go into the recovery mechanism, recover, and VM, and select W for Windows, and we've just got that one finished, and view recovery cache. Okay, so now because it's recovering from site A to site B to site A, what we're going to see is some activity on the disks. So what I'm going to do next is go into the monitor and performance area here. Nothing going on just yet. So I'm going to come back to this as soon as that activity happens, and I've got my VM back at site A. I'll come back on and just show you how that works. Back into our consoles. This is the Hyperflex console for both site A and B. You can see that the IOPS have dropped to 0, so that restore job has finished up and things are up and running. So over here we've got our vSphere running. The 2012 server is back up and running. I'll just open the console to prove it, and sure enough it is. I'll just open that and make sure we know it's running. So there we go. Let's just take a look at the Cohesity side and look at the protection job. You can see that the copy status from the A side to the B side has failed. However, if we take a look at the B side, Cohesity, and just look at the protection jobs, we can see here that we had a successful successful restore job. Then what we're going to have to do is re-protect site A to site B. So we can go through that in another video, but that gives you a real quick and dirty of some of the flexibility that Cohesity brings to the table. This is the kind of stuff that your customers really value, the ability to combine a second tier storage platform with something that can do NFS and CIFS, as well as run VMs on its own platform, all combined into a full backup package that can replicate out to the cloud if need be, or to other devices if need be within the system, be able to fan in, be able to fan out. These are all very valuable pieces of technology that your customers are really going to love. So having that integration with Cohesity as well as Hyperflex brings a ton of value to the table. Definitely think about positioning this with your customers. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.